Make sure you listen to my daddy's podcast right now. It's the best show in the world.
And this is the Cards Face Up podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Ty Hill. Y'all already know what we do when we got guests on here. We like to build those moments. I call them nostalgic moments. And today is a nostalgic moment not only for y'all motherfuckers, but for me. It's a personal one for me. So today's guest is a Baltimore legend. I don't know how the hell he's a Baltimore legend and how he get that title when he hailed all the way from Talladega, Alabama. But he's a Baltimore legend, y'all. He's a comedian, a writer. He's an entertainer. He's a host. He's been making his mark on the comedy scene since before I was old enough to get inside the comedy club. Y'all want to know how I know that? We're going to discuss that too, right? Listen, we watched him move up the ranks. I'm talking, you've seen him out there putting his name on the map with some of the biggest comedians ever. We talking about Tommy Davidson, Ed Lover, T.K. Kirkland, Michael Blackston, Red Grant, John. Look, listen, the list goes on and on and on, and that's why I say he a Baltimore legend. So I ain't going to talk y'all head off, but today's guest is the one and only comedian Alabama.
What's up, boy? What's up? Now let me backtrack. You said comedian, entertainer. Did you say host or hoe? I thought I heard you say hoe. Did you say hoe?
You married now?
No, I'm not married, so I want you
sure?
to add that to the.
Well, he a hoe too. He a hoe out in these streets.
I appreciate that. I didn't even see you that opener. Hey man, it's good to be here, man. Thank you for that intro. What's up to Cards Face Up podcast? I'm Alabama, from Talladega, Alabama. Baltimore, my home too. So I'm here.
Man,
I'm here.
We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. I want to know, because I go back with you. And when I say y'all, this moment of nostalgia is just for, not just for y'all, it's for all of us. Brother, you've been in Baltimore for how long on the comedy scene?
I started doing comedy here in 2001, man. So we talking about 22 years. 22 years. Burks, I think you was, how old was you in 2021?
That's what I wanted to make sure I was adding my years up, right?
Okay.
So in 2001, I was probably about 16 years old.
Shit.
This goes back to Burks, y'all, for my Baltimore people. Burks Comedy Factory, when you had to walk up them little ass steps upstairs, right? Alabama. How the fuck did you end up from Talladega, Alabama to downtown Baltimore?
I met a woman. She took me. I followed her. Pussy make you do stuff. I packed my bags. I ain't have nothing but, you ever seen them cartoons when the motherfucker just got the stick and the goddamn bag? That was me. Came up here in Baltimore, man, and started doing the comedy in 2001. But I think it was like 2004 when you start coming up there, because you have to be 18 to get in Burks. I want to say around 2004, and that's when I would start making my impression on the comedy scene during that time.
I'm going to tell you, when I started coming, and it's Burks ain't owned by, Burks gone, right?
Yeah, it's a Royal Farms now, but y'all don't know,
right?
In the Baltimore area. Right. Light Street.
When I started coming, you were letting me in. Nigga, I did not have, I was not old enough. And you used to say.
So is this a snitch show right here? You snitching?
Yeah. We're fucking telling. We're fucking telling right now, right? So, but this shit goes back.
We got him. Come on.
You were security. You were doing like security at first, right? Or
I did everything. I'm a comedian, bar back, security, tear tickets. I did it all. Promote. I did it all.
I remember when you first started your first coming out on stage. You used to come out to. I had a song. And you came out to it one time and shit, and I was so happy. I thought I had made it. I didn't know that I wasn't a star yet, but seeing a nigga come out to my music, I just knew I was fucking on.
I remember that.
So the pussy got you down here. What made you want to be a comedian? Like, who's the influences? What made, like, was you just a funny nigga in school? Like,
I wasn't a class clown, but I was around a lot of funny guys, and around my end of my freshman, sophomore year going to high school, Talladega High School, shout out Talladega Tigers. We had step teams.
Nobody knows where the fuck that's at.
Hey, they gonna know now. Shout out Talladega. Hey, up in the place. So to all the listeners out there. So I already did the entertainment, man. My dad was a preacher, so I always wanted to talk. So when I was like young, 8, 9 years old, I used to go up there and preach and write little funny stuff, but I was more serious growing up in high school, played sports, but we had step teams and we was like the baby Qs. So I used to do that and entertain, kind of broke out my shell. But long story short, 1999, B.E.T. was looking for auditions for comedians, and I sent them a VHS tape. VHS tape. And between that time, I was moving from here to Baltimore, from Talladega to Baltimore. And when I got here to Baltimore, they sent me an email. They said, hey, you did not be chosen. And I ain't know nothing about doing comedy, dog. I was in Alabama. I invited 8 of my friends to come to a studio. I think I told one joke. Took me 8 minutes to tell a joke because it couldn't be no longer than 8 minutes. So in between time, I met the girl, got married within like 6 months. I moved, followed her. B.E.T. sent me an email in 2001. They said, we didn't pick you, okay? We didn't pick you, but do this. You know, they taught me about stuff, stage presence, segueing, punchline. So I stuck with it, man. So when I saw you, when you saw me, that was like early on, but I had some natural stuff just to be funny and silly with. So I took those notes, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate B.E.T. They have to do that.
That's dope as shit. I ain't know they did shit like me. I remember I did a competition with B.E.T. They just sent me an email back like, nigga, you ain't the one.
Right. Thanks. See you. Sorry for your luck.
Do not reply.
Do not reply back. Yeah.
So that's a blessing.
This email will explode in 10 seconds.
Real shit. So we again, who was the inspirations comedy wise though? Like some of the greats, like who
oh, man,
when Alabama talks about.
You just named some of them, man, and I had fortunate enough to work with Tommy Davidson's, Damon Wayans. I got to work with them. Of course, like the Eddie Murphys and Richard Pryors, and even going to like Steve Martin, some of the George Carlin, some of those comedians like that on both sides, man. Joan Rivers, Rodney Dangerfield, just learning them and growing up watching them, so of course, I was young watching that, but picking up that timing of everything they're doing. So that's influenced me. And of course, some of the comedians out today, like the Lavelle Crawfords, the Earthquakes, T.K. Kirkland, one of them you just mentioned, and rest in peace to some of them like Patrice O'Neal, R.I.P. Patrice O'Neal, and that's one of the cats, Bernie Mac, Robin Harris. So those are the type of comedians that I always influence. I always loved doing impressions. Comedians that did impressions. I don't do impressions though. And that's kind of weird to me because I always like the comedians that do impressions, like the Aries Spears and Affion Crockett, those type guys.
I think Affion is one of the fucking funniest, best impersonators out there.
Affion is Hall of Famer to me, man. Affion is Hall of Fame.
I also think his show, that improv show he had back in the day with the rapping, he was doing all. I think that shit is underrated.
Yeah, I watched that. I'm a fan. As much I get to work with some of these guys, man, that you name and Affion just talking about right now, I'm still a fan of them guys. So to work with them, that's a pleasure, So, but I make sure that they know they're gonna have to work. Also, we're gonna work that night. We're gonna work that night. We're gonna have a funny show.
I'm waiting for Aries Spears to get down here so I could cuss him the fuck out. Aries, we beefing, nigga. You already know what it is. He bluffed me. He was supposed to be on the show. So until you keep your fucking promise, nigga, we beefing. That's to you, Aries. You already know what the fuck it is. You said I got a lazy eye. Which way I got to look?
When you get mad, they go inside. Both of them go in. I'm going to have to move my eye to make sure. So
Aries, you know what the fuck?
I have a chance to work with Aries for many of years, almost over a decade. So Aries is most definitely, he has raised some guys' blood pressure You know,
I'm popping up on his black ass when I see him.
He'll probably like, wait in line for that.
That's what it is. He a funny motherfucker. So speaking of people like Ari Spears, then, since people that get that blood boiling, and then we have as comedians, then we have the Chris Rock, Will Smith situation. Is it a line for comedians? Is it a line that you can cross? That you like the Will Smith joke, and what's your opinion of that with the Chris Rock shit? Who was he overboard with the joke, or was the reaction over?
I'm gonna tell you this, Ty. Years ago, I told a joke like that in front of in the crowd. The lady had a low haircut, and I was like G.I. Jane. Then I was like, I followed it up like I had to be careful because she'd be going through chemotherapy or whatever, something like that, right? So, but when Chris Rock said in front of all those people, and just going back to that situation, did he cross the line? It's comedy. I don't think he crossed the line. It's just, comedians, there's some comments that I don't think get slapped by audience member. You don't hear about it. That's nothing new. I personally, knock on wood, have never had a situation where somebody threatened me after I said something to like do bodily harm to me. Somebody might have said some words, but nothing like that's going to take to that. So Will Smith crossed the line. He said he did. He said
he had to say he did.
But they friends. They friends. If I say something about your lady, are you automatically gonna get up and slap Ty or attempt to? Yeah. See, you don't think about that.
I think I totally.
And that's not trying to your manhood. That's not trying to test your manhood or nothing like that. I just thought Will Smith's manhood was tested. His manhood was tested, and that's what he decided he wanted to do. He could have waited to commercial. Then took him backstage and whooped it.
He should have brought commercial real. I think the reaction was a lot. I get it. At the same time, can't never tell a nigga how he react to things. I think Chris should definitely take ducking or boxing lessons. It should be some things that's put in place now, like when a nigga is approaching you very, very fast.
Well, he most definitely had time to move. But we got to also remember is, Chris Rock is far removed from stuff. He ain't about that life on that. So he far removed. He far removed in that when you see a guy approach you with that pace, something about to happen.
Well, he backing it down.
So, Tom, for example, we all know if a guy stand up and he got glass, he take his glasses off.
You know what it is.
The one to get the first punch wins.
You ain't never fucking lie. So being Alabama, right? Somebody who you not only, and we was mentioning in the beginning with the introduction, you are not only a host, you are also a headliner. Right. You headline shows, you host shows, you do the middle act. Like, nigga, you are a busy person as far as that stage goes. Which part do you prefer? Do you prefer the 30 minutes headlining or whatever that time is, 40 minutes headlining, or do you prefer the comic release between, which I'm guessing is all considered in the host, between the acts coming on stage?
Well, let me give a little tip right here. I like to use the word MC because anybody can host. MC controls everything, master of ceremonies, correct? So just that little tip right there. So to answer your question, which one do I prefer? I prefer all of them. I prefer whatever that's going to allow me to present that audience to get them where they need to be for their night. Whether that's me opening up the show, doing 10 minutes or 12 minutes or whatever, or middling or closing out the show. I like to do it all. In some instance where there has been plenty of times where I had to open up the show and it's just me and the headliner, so it's like an open feature. And then there have been times where I have opened up the show and the other acts ain't there yet. So I have to be able to do those 25, 30 minutes on the go, just on the go, you know. So I love doing it all, man, and the introspective of it. So all of it has made me better as a comedian. So I also try to add a little bit to hosting and right our middle and featuring closing out the show. It don't matter, you know. Sometimes I open up and it felt like I closed it. So
I've been at shows like that. I've also been at shows that those that you emceed and those between acts, that comic relief that you provide is just fucking it sets the bar. That's one thing about having, I love how you corrected it too, having a great MC for a comic show is
right.
It sets the bar. It sets the tone. You feel me? It's sort of like for my adults, it's sort of like the finger, you know, rubbing the coochie before we start, you know, maybe the tongue, like all of that type shit. It's the shit, the foreplay. You dig what I'm saying? I know girls like,
Do
nigga, well,
niggas still do that?
I still smell it. And I smell it.
You young. Do y'all still do that?
Yeah. This right here, and then be like, I gotta smell it. Listen, I'm a fucking Toys R Us kid, y'all. I ain't never growing up. But yeah, man, you put on a lot and you've done a lot for the city, comedy wise. My question is now, I know you done had probably 100 million fucking offers to leave, go on the road with these guys, and touring and things like that. Is that in your plans? Is that something you've turned down? How do you feel about that?
There has been occasion over the years. Let me give people a little background about me. Not only I'm a comedian, but with the Comedy Factory, also booked talent over the years. Where when I first started working at the club, it was like a lot of white acts, Last Comic Standing, and guys you'll see on Comedy Central. So I started introducing them to the more Black urban acts. So that's when we started having D. Ray Davis, Corey Holcomb. You know, we started with the Bill Bellamy. This one was at Burks. And as we progressed, and as we got to where we at now at the Baltimore Comedy Factory, where we at now, as a status, we're an urban club. Most of our acts, 98.9% of our acts are going to be Black or non-white acts. And that was something that I contribute to, but I also want to make sure that bringing the great acts here that people want to see, along with seeing myself. So to get back to that, I have worked with plenty of these comedians. Like I said, from the weigh-ins, there has been offered some to go on the road, but I have been going on the road. I went on the road with Coco Brown. Shout out to my sister. She's the first one when I first started 20 plus years ago. She allowed me to do guest spots and stuff like that. Then 20 years forward, she allowed me to go on tour with her. We did like 10 cities and things like that. But I also, when I left Alabama, my boys told me when they knew I was pursuing comedy, they said, all right, don't be up there chasing nobody's coattail. So this is what I did. And this is what I've said in my head. No shade on anybody else. Maybe I could have went on the road a couple of times with some people else. Or maybe me being certain talent might have prevented me from being on the road. Like, hey, you know, this guy might be too funny, you know, or things like that. And that's nothing against all the comedians out there, because the ones I have been fortunate and blessed to work with, you know, that's what it is. But also, you know, my thing, Ty, is I want my own coat. Feel me? So that's how I've been carrying. I want my own coat.
That's dope. That was a great fucking answer. Because we've seen it. You know, it's one thing when niggas say certain things and you like, that's a good answer. But this was a good answer because we watched it. We've watched you, again, for those that's from Baltimore, niggas have been here, things of sort. We watched them come from down Light Street, Burks downtown. We watched them end up where they at now for the Comedy Factory. We watched him always be around, and we watched you grow. I mean, I'm talking short hair, long hair to short hair to no hair, and
right,
fucking skinny, big. This nigga, he lose weight up like me and shit. You feel me? But
I got my Anthony Anderson body now. You know what I'm saying? The top, the top part, that's the barbershop Anthony Anderson. Lower half, that's the Blackish. I'm gonna be in this new sitcom called Slimish.
That nigga gonna pick that shit up too. What's my man name? That do all of those shows.
Dion Cole. Shout out to Dion. Dion Cole.
Nah, not the comedian. I'm talking about the man that writes it. Shout out to Dion though. He's funny as hell too.
Dion.
What's the guy that
I know what you're talking about. That's a Netflix special.
Yeah. Exactly. But yeah, man, we watch you do it. So today,
you gotta get a better research team, man. You're supposed to know this information. You know, Ty.
I didn't know we was gonna start talking about Blackish in your body shape, nigga.
You're supposed to be on it. You're supposed to be on it. No, supposed to be on it. I'll talk you better than that. You don't watch me. I'm watching you.
Listen. Yo, do you drink when you're doing comedy? Does that work for you? I mean, I've seen you take drinks. I think all of y'all be fronting though.
I'm not a drinker. I'll sip. I'm not a drinker. You know, I will inhale. But I try to make sure that I don't do too much because I still have to perform, you know. And I don't want that to be something that
Have you seen comedians? Have you seen established comedians actually get too twisted on stage and you're like, oh, it's going down?
I don't see them get twisted. I don't see them get stuck. I don't see them fall out. I don't see them fall off the stage. I don't see them pissed on the stage. And these comedians, you know, I ain't gonna say their name, but you know these people. A lot of people know, your audience know these comedians. I know they're gonna hate me for doing that little cliffhanger, but I can't say no names, but I've seen it.
What's the funniest thing you've seen from a comedian, man, that wasn't planned?
Well, I seen a show recently. It was at the factory. This guy, outside promoter, threw a show, and he had these comedians go up, and this comic went up. And before the show, you know, we partake and we smoked and stuff like that. He gave me, you know, something to smoke, and we were smoking. So he went on stage, and for his first 4 minutes, he was, you know, getting laughs and stuff like that. Then all of a sudden, he just stuck and didn't say anything. He just was stuck, like nothing. And the crowd was like, ooh, it was a nice crowd. Crowd like, ooh, what's going on? Then he just started rambling about something about Michelin tires. Then all of a sudden he came off. So he went off stage, finally came off. He went off stage, went to the back. I went back there to check on him. I said, first thing I said to him, hey, that wasn't none of that shit we were smoking right there, was it? Because your ass was stuck. It's crazy, man. But that's how I go. I remember when I first moved here, I had a comedy night called Tickle Me Tuesday. We had it the 5 seasons. I don't know if the people ever remember the 5 seasons. It was on, I want to say that was on Charles.
The original 5 seasons.
The original 5 seasons.
The original 5 seasons was on Charles.
Charles and Mike.
The upstairs and the downstairs shit.
Correct. So I had an open mic there, and one night I introduced this comedian. He went on stage and he was like, "Hey y'all, hey, I love working out. You know, I put my pants on. Excuse me." Then he walked off stage. He like, He said, "I'll be right back." He walked off stage. He never came back. We waited for about 2 minutes. I thought he was gonna go put some change, you know, wardrobe. He never came back. I ran into him a month later. Just happened to bump into him. I said, "Hey man, what's up?" I said, "Man, what happened that night? You just left." He said, "Man, I froze." He said, "I ain't know what else to say." He said, "I just walked away."
Just got out of there.
So
do you
comedy
think
comedy ain't easy?
While we speaking of 5 seasons, I got to shout out the owner of the original 5 seasons and the 5 seasons down Guilford. Shout out Solomon. That's the homie, man. He's another brother that showed big love, man. We love Solomon, man. Solomon has a black card forever. He could come to any fucking hood in Baltimore and we gonna accept him. That's the guy, man. But Speaking of like
So,
that freeze and shit, like
you know what I mean? He Ethiopian, so ain't that black?
I don't know. I know the nigga don't look like us.
Yeah, he Ethiopian. I know Solomon. He blink his eyes like
I,
Eddie Griffin. He
I
used
know.
to be like, Alabama. What time that show gonna start?
Look, that's
I know
that's my
Solomon.
man. That's
Shout
my
out
man
Solomon.
Solomon. I fucking love Solomon. Solomon has got me out of a lot of. He done put me out of his club about 100 times, man. I've been put out, and Solomon let me back in every time. I love that. I
You,
was a piece
you
of work.
you didn't know it was an Ethiopian restaurant?
No, nigga, I'm from East Baltimore. I don't even.
I'm gonna be on
Teach
your
that at our
research.
school.
I'm about to be Cards Face Up podcast new researcher.
You
You're gonna
got
have all
80.
this information, son.
You
You're
got
gonna have
80 jobs
all.
already, yo. You ain't got
That's
no
it.
time.
Yeah,
So
that's it. I'm gonna take an hour, a week for that for you.
just that's my nigga. So when you talk about artists like comedians bombing on stage, right? Do
Ugh.
you think that is needed in order to progress in the game?
I don't talk. I don't talk about bombing. Next question.
You don't talk. You must have had some fucked up moments.
No. I just say I don't. I don't want to put the curse on the. I won't curse. No, but I'm fucking with you. Is bombing needed? Like, do you need to
Is
bomb in order to be a great comedian? I don't think so, but I get it. I used to. When I first started, I used to go around. I used to have in my head, let me go ahead and get it out the way. Kind of get it out the way feeling. So I get that. Is it needed? I put it to you like this. You watch sports, you watch
mm-hmm.
sports, NFL. Have you ever felt like your team need to get a loss? They need to get an L before they can move on to the playoffs, before the playoffs, you know.
Nah, no.
See, so that's the same type of attitude. I have been like, okay, do I need to get this bombing out the way? You feel me? But that's not like you're not gonna bomb again or not have good shows. But is it necessary? No, it's not necessary.
That's just the way niggas that bomb explain it, huh? I needed
Well,
that to,
well,
to end up where I'm at today.
this the thing that you don't want. You don't want to get too cocky. You don't want to get too arrogant. Feel me? So you want to keep that fine line between, okay, I'm confident to know I can go up here and make these people laugh, but I'm not gonna be arrogant enough to think I'm too good not to do well, and I don't put on my best foot forward, or I'm lackadaisical. I'm being lazy.
Mm. I
Most
like
of
how
the
you
time,
just now broke down lackadaisical.
most of the time we bomb. If we have a bomb set or something like that, we being lazy because it's consistency. It's people consistently funny. They might have a bad set. No matter who you are, it could be an off night. You don't know. It's an artist. You're an artist. You won't perform. You done music.
I got you. How often do you sit inside the crowd? Is that part of your, we speaking of research? Is that part of your research? Do you go still sit inside shows, comedy shows, to kind of get that feeling and that hunger and make sure that you stay, not stealing jokes, but current of what the world is wanting? Or do you leave that on to when you get on that stage and see what works?
Well, I have always been very studious, keeping up with what people are talking about, also keeping up with what I'm just talking about too, because you don't want to be talking about the same things, or something happen. Some people know, okay, I guess all the comedians going to be talking about this right now, or everybody going to be talking about this right now. So I try to be aware of that, and I've always been like current events, observational type humor when I come to my comedy, and I try to keep up. I keep up with what's going on. I'm in my mid-40s, so I'm kind of right there where I know what the old ones are dealing with too. You know what I'm saying? So That keeps
Say that
me
one
young.
more time. You glitched out. Say you in your mid-40s. So you know what?
I said, being in my mid-40s, I can kind of see where the people that are older than me like to hear, and also the people that are a little younger than me like to hear also. That come to the shows. And I get to places early. Sometimes I'll go to an event, get there early, look at the crowd, see if they talking to each other, get the feel of it, feel the room. Then I can go with that.
How is comedians pussy ratio?
Say that again. You glitched out.
Comedians pussy ratio, like as a rapper or artist, shit like that. Females flop. They're throwing the panties. They want to, Is it like that being a comedian?
Yeah, there's women that loves to laugh and and make it wet. And
Do they
like
want you to be funny when you fucking? Like, do they expect for you to come home? Like, because if I get a chick on stage and she dancing,
I have come up with some comedy bits while I'm fucking. So I'm always funny. I'll just tell somebody the other day, one of my closest homegirl, I said, I don't know what's fucking wrong with me. I shouldn't be up there going down on this girl and thinking about my new woman. Let me get that right for people out there. Clear that up and be thinking about, what I'm getting from this. What I'm saying? I'm like, I'm down there. I'm like, what? I'm looking at her like, what day she on? Where her hair just started to grow back and stuff. I can feel the little stubbles. I'm like, oh, she on day 3 after shave. Well, she could have been on her 4th day. I'm supposed to be focused, but I'm thinking about that. So that's gonna make me great one day. So yeah, you're supposed to be funny, but not to sound chauvinistic, women do offer their company. If you're funny enough. I see it.
I asked Freud.
You don't have to accept it, though. You don't have to accept it.
Well, it's not nice to not accept gifts. That's what I was taught as a kid. Unless it's gifts that you can't get rid of. Like certain gifts they out here giving, you're gonna have forever. So you got to be careful of what you're expecting. But and I asked that, for my female comedians, I'm not being male chauvinistic and shit here. I didn't say it from female wise because niggas fuck anything. Y'all could walk past the stage, niggas would have tried to fuck. So it don't matter if y'all on the stage, man. And there's some great female comedians. I don't want y'all to think I'm being biased.
I will say this. Men, we leave our a little bit more open than women when it comes to people we want to sleep with. Men do sleep with him, but I stopped that. I ain't fucking with the preciousness. I'm sorry. Sorry.
The only thing that changed with men.
You like precious, nigga. No, that's why. That's why.
Only thing that
don't need 2 preciouses in the bedroom. We don't know who's sucking each other's titties. So I don't need that.
The only thing changed with men when we don't, as far as what coochie we accept, is where we show you off to after. Depending how you look,
right? Who we introduce
you damn sure not coming to the family reunion like that.
Yeah, that's who we introduce you to.
Exactly.
We used to call them quiet in Alabama. We used to, them the ones they fine as shit, but they face fucked up. But you like, damn, I want to hit it. But you can't tell nobody though. And them be the freak. Yeah, that's what people don't know. Ugly girls got more dick than pretty girls in school. They did. For real.
But what we didn't know is you wasn't the only one hiding her. Your homeboy wasn't telling that he was fucking her too.
All y'all niggas was hiding. It was about 4 or 5 y'all. Y'all, only way y'all know, y'all bumped into each other one night. You like, oh? Then you like, oh? They say, hey, we might as well go ahead, you go together. Yeah.
So,
Shout out to
what's your
Cynthia.
opinion?
She ain't gonna see this. Ah! No,
Tanisha too, but
shout
no.
out. No
What
last name.
what's your opinion of comedians having writers? Because you do all of your own writing. So what's your opinion of these writing team comedians? And I know it's not nothing new, although
Yeah.
they like to make it seem like it's new. You know, they point out Kevin Hart, which I think got one of the illest fucking team of writers ever. But what do you think about that? Like, what's your opinion of that?
I only think that I mean that's nothing that's another job. Feel me? I don't know why would somebody be wrong with somebody writing for a job. There's some people that can write stuff but can't do it at the stand-up, you know. The thing is, what I would have a problem with if you got comedy writers and you're not getting funnier, then what the fuck you need them for? If you ain't gonna be funny, you can write your own shit. You can do that your damn self. But from what I see, my 20 plus years doing comedy, I have been blessed to work with a lot of comedians and get to see a lot of performances, you know, because I work behind the scenes too. You know, a lot of them, you know, they need to write. It's the same stuff. So
Is it any
that's my opinion.
is it any like whole writers out there? Like, you know, the writers that you remember Tupac and them same old girl, like the video girls that was in every fucking video and shit. Is it any
Right.
writers behind the scenes that's writing every nigga out there in comedy? Like, do they exist? Or is these niggas like all under contract?
They might write for one or two people because what I think is when you write for somebody, you have to really be around that person and really, uh, 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 I guess, indulge yourself into that person, kind of become that person. So I don't think you can only probably do that one or two people at a time. You don't want to be too much because you end up mixing it up. Shout out to Marshall Brandon. Marshall Brandon, a very funny comedian. Marshall Brandon travels with Donnell Rawlings and Dave Chappelle. And Marshall
Oh,
Brandon been a
wow.
comedian 20 plus years. Good friend of mine. He's from the Connecticut area, but he's been traveling with them on this tour. He's gonna be at the Comedy Factory coming up soon. So he's one of the guys that's out there that we know as a writer, also travels and perform his own bits too. So that's the thing is, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Some comedians have given me tags. Like I've worked with like Mark Curry and comedian Eric Griffin and some of those and Keenan Ivan Wayans, and where they don't heard me say a joke and they like, hey, man, I want you to say this way. And I used it and it worked. Because why wouldn't I?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
why would I? You know, that's like, hey, if Michael Jordan telling me, hey, shoot free throws this way, what you gonna do?
At least
Shoot free
try it.
throws
Fucking
that way.
right. Fucking
So
right.
nothing wrong with comedy writers. I don't know. I don't see where it is. I see in the music business, they was getting on to Drake about that. He don't write. I like, okay. He still got to run. I mean, you still gotta say
You
it.
gotta deliver.
You
Still
still
gotta
gotta
deliver. I
deliver.
don't think, like I said, I think Kevin Hart writing team is some of the funniest motherfuckers. Of course, I don't know what part they actually do, right? But you know, what they come up with as a clique, I don't think none of them could actually do what Kevin does on that stage though. Same thing with when we look at Dave Chappelle with Charlie Murphy and back then. Charlie Murphy is one of the greats, right? And he can't give with that Dave Chappelle sense of humor out there, even if he wrote the exact same joke. Not saying his ain't as funny. It's definitely the performance part of it is very, very important too. You know, like you said, with
Well,
cadence, I heard you speak of before
and,
and
and,
shit like.
and you selling personality, man. You know, that's what separates it. It's selling personality. What makes me saying this funny than you saying it? We can say the same thing, but we say it a different way or a different personality. You know, I've said some things similar or prior to a Chappelle or a DL Hughley or those type of comedians, but you know, they beat me to it.
I,
they
I, I,
people beat you to it. If they beat you to it and they have a name out there, you know, and that's like I said, no shade against anybody I work with. Me being at the Comedy Factory and working with a lot of these comedians and performing with them and putting on good shows with them, there's nothing to say that they didn't take whatever I say and take it on the road with them. Who am I? I'm Alabama. I'm Alabama, but this is somebody that everybody know. This is a king of comedy, or this is people we've seen in sitcom, we've seen in movies. So if you say something about that, then who are you? You know how it is on Twitter, social media. Oh, you ain't nobody. Ain't nobody steal your shit. You ain't funny. That's how it go. And you gotta be prepared for that.
It went the same way in music, so I 100% know. I got some artists that we went through the whole lawyers and everything with. So trust and believe, I know they was on my ass.
You gotta be tough. You gotta be.
You gotta have tough skin.
You gotta have tough skin.
Ain't nobody believing shit. How dare you talk bad about so and so? So I know we gonna start wrapping up because I don't like to hold people too long. I do want to know what's your opinion of the new era as far as comedians. A lot of them are becoming big on social media doing skits first. You got your Just Hilarious. You got what's my man, DC Young Fly. You got these people that did skits first, went viral, and then now they're entering to the stage. And a lot of them ain't making it. Some of them making it, like the ones I just named, they're making it real big. But a lot of these people thought that it was easy versus back in the day, it was opposite. When you just named Keenan. Keenan started out on the stage, then started doing those skits and bits. Then he went back to the stage. So he kind of already had his feet wet in that world. Do you think that, like, what's your opinion of it? Like the new game, is everybody trying to do the skits and think automatically they can fucking jump on stage?
Right. First of all, I like Jess. The guys at DC Young Fly I work with, Country Wayne, who is it, like the Desi Bangs, Davis, some of the few ones like that. Well, when it comes to what they doing, that's another avenue of comedy content. We are in a different era. From the era from before me and when I started, it was like working on your craft and then you get your exposure. Now it's get the exposure and then you might work on your craft. You might want to do stand-up, but what I don't want people to do is don't force these Instagram comedians to think they have to do stand-up if that's not their thing. It might not be their thing. I do understand how many people do we recognize as comedians that don't do stand-up. So maybe if they want to be, I've seen some people who does sketches and they got million views and all these followers and they say they don't recognize themselves as a comedian, but they do funny skits. So it's a different era. I just want it to be separated. I don't consider that stand-up comedian is a whole different beast. And the crowd will then fade you out. They'll let you know. So that's my opinion of it. But like I said, shouts out to everybody that probably came through that. Those people you just named, like the Jazz, the DC, and Country Wayne, they do some shows. Davis. So I've seen those. So, shouts out to them.
Definitely. So before we let you go, Alabama, I need to know top 3 comedians.
Oh.
And then I need to know after that, top 3 underrated. I think Eddie Griffith should be in everybody's fucking list. He's not, but I think he's underrated like shit. And I think D-Ray is underrated too. You named D-Ray earlier.
I'm about to hit you with Dylon, nigga. Bama. Top 3 comedians, that's not me. Put that in parentheses. Eddie Murphy, Tommy Davidson. Bernie Mac. I like Eddie Griffin too. I love Eddie Griffin. I don't yeah. I've had to go with those three. But my three underrated. Three most underrated comedians. Affion Crockett. But people know Affion. I hate to pull him out because he on the epsilon.
Well,
But
he's not. No, you're right. He doesn't get the credit for being as great as he is. They just know him.
Okay. Affion Crockett. I guess he got his special now. I can't consider Earthquake. I thought Earthquake was underrated for a long time. But I want to throw a female in there. I can't think of one. Are women funny? No, I'm joking.
Samoa is fucking hilarious.
Samoa's a queen of comedy, though.
Yeah, you're right. You can't count a fucking queen.
I'm gonna say Finesse Mitchell, Affion Crockett, and me.
Okay,
but Finesse Mitchell been on Saturday Night Live. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but the names still don't just ring to everybody. I agree. That was a good look, man. Look,
now there's some people here that's in Baltimore area. I want to shout out that's underrated right now. They're doing Maria Sanchez. That's a name. I don't want you to listen out for the future. Very funny female comedian. That's around the area. So she most definitely one of them. Now, shout out. You know,
what's
shout
my
out to you, man. Hey, bro, I know we was up here kidding around, but I'm proud of you, man. For real.
For real. Salute. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Proud of you too, man. When I say I watched the growth, man, it's one of those success stories that I could fucking say I watched. You know, and I love to see it. I love to see progression, man. Y'all don't know how much I hit this man and ask for favors. And if y'all know me, I don't fucking ask for favors. So shout out to you for being you, staying just as true as you was when you were at the bottom tier and you was just filling in the space, basically, to the big man that you are now, that it looks as if you're running shit. You feel me? Everybody in the city know your name for comedy. So that's a big thing, man. And we give you your crown over here for Baltimore. I know I was joking when with the Talladega and we still call you ours, but we do, man. We claim you as part of being ours. You know, throw your T's up for Talladega High School and all that shit. But they got to know that they got to share you because Alabama is us too.
Yeah, man. I most definitely a Baltimore ear. You know, I most definitely ear. Hey, I went to an event just as that you said that though. I went to an event this past the CIAA event, man, and people showed me love, showed me flowers around there. So I most definitely Baltimore is home too. So I'm not gonna change my name to Maryland, but you know, I represent everywhere I go. When I win that Oscar or I win those awards, I most definitely shout out. I put out a year and I do a Baltimore Park High scrap 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'll do a Park High scrap for them.
That's what the fuck it is, man. Look, Alabama, we appreciate you. Please tell the audience where they can hear from you, see more of you, follow you, all of those things, subscribe to you, what you got coming up.
Hey, follow me on IG at Comedian Alabama, at Comedian Alabama. You can also go to my YouTube channel, Alabama, Comedian Alabama. I got some shows coming up March 18th. I'll be here locally at the Masonic Lodge. It's a great show. I got my Mason brothers and sisters going to be there March the 18th. You can go to my website, to my page, IG page, check that out, buy tickets. You can catch me at the Baltimore Comedy Factory coming up. Go to the website, baltimorecomedy.com. I think we got, I don't know when this going to air, but we got Ron Taylor coming out. We got Thea Vidal coming up that I'll be working with. If y'all old heads know Thea Vidal, you know, she was Moesha mama, Randy mama on TV. So that's going to be a great show, man. And hey, man, follow me. And I put all my shows up there, man. And once again, Cards Face Up Podcast. Shout out to you, man. Aces Up. You know, I got all spades.
Shout out Alabama, man. Card Space Up Podcast. Y'all know where to follow us at. All social media at Card Space Up Podcast. Also, www.cardspaceuppodcast.com. Make sure y'all go there. We got new merch coming. We got new interviews coming. We got everything fucking coming. I just need y'all to subscribe. Send me y'all email, stuff like that, so you can get all the alerts when it's coming out. Don't forget, we're on all social media platforms. Subscribe, follow, talk to a nigga. I talk back. Y'all already know what it is. Card Space Up Podcast. Thank you. Alabama, we thank you, man. Continue to be great. Continue to be successful. We waiting to see you on that big screen real soon. We know it's coming. You fucking hilarious, man. Thank you, brother. Peace.